What is reality? Reality is what we believe to be true about the nature of our surroundings. But how do we come to decide that true nature? Do we conceive it completely on our own? Or do other devices gently sway our thoughts onto a pre-decided path? This is the hard question we must all ask ourselves as free humans on this planet. Whose skulls your reality?
Reality.
Hey guys, what's up? It's Wednesday night. Don here.
Dan.
How you doing tonight?
What's good?
It's a glorious, glorious hot blanket of an evening here at the super secret undisclosed location tonight. It's like walking around in a friggin' bathtub out here.
You know, when I was a kid, Hampton Roads was like deciduous forest type biome, and now it's pretty much like subtropical rainforest. The climate here has indeed changed.
I mean, bananas grow here now.
Yeah.
Down in southeastern Virginia.
Yeah,
in case you didn't know, you heard it here first on Reality Brief, the show you are watching tonight. Tonight we're joined...
We hope.
Tonight we're joined by special guest Penny Bradley. You know her, you love her. Hey Penny, what's going on? You there?
Well, yeah, I'm here.
Oh, hey, look at you.
We've been having 100-degree weather, and we've got a fire about 40 miles south of us.
Still burning.
So, still burning.
Making
3
it
weeks
hotter.
now.
Smoky.
Smoky.
Well, at least it's not quite as humid there. At least you have that.
That's true. The swamp cooler actually works here. If it were as humid there, it wouldn't.
Yeah, it's ridiculous here. Like I said, bathtub. Anyway, so how you doing? What brings you here tonight? You want to talk about the fires raging around the globe?
Yeah, so I guess that is one of the nice perks about living in a swamp, is that it's kind of hard to catch on fire, unless, you know, swamp gas. But
otherwise known as gray abductions.
Well, we have fires. If your audience isn't aware, there are fires all over the western half of North America. That includes Mexico and Canada and clear up into Alaska. And a lot of Europe and Russia are also on fire. So it's not like I'm the Lone Ranger and this is the only fire there is.
Right.
Well, you never hear about stuff in environmental happenings in Europe and Russia for the most part in the mainstream media.
No, not really.
You know, knowing that Russia's having fires too, that's pretty crazy, because I figured, you know, that Central Asia probably gets a lot of rain, and isn't most of it, like, aren't a lot of the steppes all grass?
Yeah. You'd probably get further knowing about Russia from Boris than me, but... Oh, Boris is our group member that lives in Moscow, so just in case people thought we were only Americans... So, no, it's all over.
You didn't just come on to talk about regular old fires, so what's the deal with these things?
What the deal is with these things is, we had this drought that lasted 5 years in California, and we're 2 years past that. But what happened was the conifers, the pines and cedars and those kinds of trees, about half of them died because of the drought. They got weakened by no rain, and the bark beetles got them. So conifers have oils in them, so when they're dead, it's like having a torch, and all it needs is a spark. So it wouldn't take a lot to get the forest started burning, and once it starts, because there's just so much fuel, they're really hard to put out. So the fire near me, the Ferguson fire, is probably completely natural. It's probably going just uphill as a normal forest fire. Now, we have one north of me that's that way. In Reading, it's called the Car Fire. And it is almost exactly in the same footprint as a fire from the 1960s. So now they're saying that this is a fire zone and it's a fire hazard, and that they're going to not allow people to rebuild in that area.
Interesting.
So then you look at some of the photos from it, and okay, this doesn't happen in a real fire. Okay, that's what the big deal is. In a real fire, everything burns. There might be patches of things that don't burn, but the trees burn. Anything that is like kindling, which would be anything little in the path, like twigs, even if they're on a tree, leaves, brush, grass, all of that's going to burn. Okay? When an animal gets caught in it, their fur is going to burn first. Their skin is going to be crispied like they've been deep fried. And the core of their tissues are going to be still soft. But we're seeing the exact opposite. There's a photo of one house in the Car Fire that was literally sliced in half. Well, 2/3 of it burned and 1/3 looks perfect. The grass isn't touched.
That's nuts.
Okay? Yeah, that's nuts. You're finding where trees are burning from the inside out. Normally they burn from the outside in. You're finding that wooden structures, okay, wood burns at about 450 degrees, like paper does.
Mm-hmm.
And metals like aluminum are at 600 something centigrade, which is like twice what it would be on Fahrenheit. So you're seeing cars that are destroyed. The wheels are melting into these streams of aluminum that are going into the roads, but the houses on either side of the street are untouched.
Yeah, like this one here, this kind of blows my mind. The whole structure is gone. And the swimming pool in the backyard still has a ton of water in it. And the trees around it seem like they're perfectly okay. It's like someone surgically erased the structure.
Now, what they said about the Santa Rosa fires last year was they blamed PG&E, Pacific Gas and Electric. That's our area electric company. They blamed the smart meters. They said the smart meters got a defect. Well, that's really curious, because the smart meters were fought by the people in Santa Rosa because of the radiation issues. So this is a community that didn't want them in the first place, put off getting them. So these are pretty much new meters. Okay, so the neighborhoods that had the most protesters had the most damage. So there are lawsuits in place now against PG&E about the smart meters. But when you look at it, it's more than just that, because they're in a line. They're in lines. The communities that were on fire at that time followed the roads. Now, back 50 years ago, they would have said it was a serial arsonist. But now we look at flight plans. And these were all along flight paths that not commercial planes took, but military planes took.
Whoa.
And I sent you some videos that are the advertisements for the Navy planes, and they're made by Boeing and by Northrop Grumman, and they come equipped with lasers. So yeah, the smoking guns one.
Yeah, we've covered the laser technology they got. They've been mounting it to everything. They were talking about putting it on helicopters and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Norfolk's a Navy town, so we always hear about them putting them on boats.
Well, they put them on boats first, and now they've got them on jets. One of the videos that I sent you guys talks about them being on B-52 bombers, that they've been repurposed to use the lasers. And I couldn't find the I couldn't find the Northrop Grumman demo that showed them drilling holes through the pickup truck, through the engine.
Oh,
But
you know
that's-
what? I'm sorry. I hate to interrupt.
That's the kind of effects that we're finding is things are just going through and destroying cars.
There was one of those planes in the air in D.C. on 9/11, and I remember they reported on it, one of the news people, and then you never heard nothing about it again. But it was one of those, and I remember it had, because it was supposed to have been an anti-ballistic missile thing, where they're using a laser to destroy ballistic missiles, but it's that plane. And it's got this big friggin' laser in the front of it.
Yeah, and we always see AWACS planes coming out of Little Creek. I guess that's old tech, but I mean, there's probably a lot of crazy stuff that you could hide in a big dish on the back of a plane. You know
those
what I mean?
things are always flying around. But no, this was in the air on 9/11 in D.C.
Crazy.
That doesn't surprise me because they made them public. The earliest video I found was from 2007.
Mm-hmm.
So if they were public by then, how much they had them at least 20 years before that.
Right.
Yeah.
And
I'm sure they had this laser technology a long time ago.
So we really do finally live in the phaser age, and it's not like Star Trek where there's a big pretty beam that shoots out of it. It's invisible. You can't see it. It's just you can't see.
See, look there, it's showing you. Look now. If this thing can get hot enough to blow up a missile, it can definitely set some houses on fire. No doubt.
yeah, definitely. So the question comes down to why? What motive would they have?
Or was it maybe it was a rogue actor? Let's give Hydra, the military-industrial complex, the benefit of the doubt. Maybe it was a rogue actor. Maybe it was,
Yeah, right.
Well,
Come on, man! To mobilize those aircraft and wipe out entire neighborhoods
I was kidding.
is
man.
not a rogue actor, right?
Of course not.
Oh, okay. I thought you were serious for a minute, man.
It could have been. Hey,
I was like, what?
well, what if there was combat in orbit, and this stuff is just the unfortunate casualties of war?
Well, if you take a good look at the maps that were leaked out for Agenda 21,
Mm-hmm.
the places that are being set on fire are in the red zones for Agenda 21. They're places that are already pre-planned to be no human involvement there at all. So if you look, if you take a look at the map and compare it to where the fires are, you'll find that it's 100% match. And it's not just fires in California either. There have been fires in Arizona, Utah, Colorado, Portugal, and the most recent fires in Greece. The ones
I've got
I've heard about the ones in Greece.
I've got an article that you sent me about the Colorado one here. So what happened with this one? The same deal, or is this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This was the first one that I when I was researching it. That was the first one that I found that it was.
Holy crap!
You can see the aluminum from the wheels pouring off, running it like a river off of the car. I mean,
I wonder how many.
Repair guy. How often do you see wheels melted?
Let me play devil's advocate for a minute here, because being a car guy, there are rims that have magnesium in it, and if that ignites, it'll do that. Okay.
Yeah.
What temperature does it ignite
thermite, at? Isn't it?
I'm not sure. I'd have to look it up. If you give me a second, I will. But just tossing that out there. But I mean, that doesn't explain the houses and stuff either. You know what I mean? And how that didn't catch that. Why isn't that tree completely gone?
Yeah.
Yeah. If it was hot enough to melt the rims, why is that tree still there?
Oh, there we go. We got full screen of it. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Was that them putting it out? So, I mean, did they put it out before it got to spread, or?
That's, to me,
no, they're just coming through afterwards.
Because how the hell all the tops of the trees are green there?
That's from Colorado from 2013.
It just looks like a house that burnt down. See, that looks like a fire actually took place. All the trees are all scorched up and stuff.
Is this the same one?
No, that may be from the same fire. It went through a large area in Colorado, and there again, it mostly hit houses and cars.
See, I mean, that's what you would expect it to look like, a burn-up car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You see the rubber
That's
going
what
off
you
with
expect.
the rim, and that's probably a steel rim.
Yeah, but the tires didn't melt. So.
Nice. Nice save. You made your saving throws on that one.
Yeah, that guy. He paid the smart meter bill.
That's
guy too.
That's where the guy who knows how to cast barrier lives. Protection from elements.
Man, that's crazy.
That guy's like a 35 level druid in there.
2 people died in that, man. Terrible.
Yeah, people are dying in these fires.
Earlier you said real fires, and just to clarify for anybody in our audience who doesn't know, what we're talking about, like a natural fire.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Natural fires, as opposed to started by tech.
Yeah, and
these are all real fires where real people are getting killed.
Right.
The Ferguson fire near me, we have had 2 people killed by the fire. One was on a bulldozer, and another one was a firefighter. The one in the car fire in Reading, that one has 2 firefighters and 3 civilians that I know of have been killed. The one in Greece, the numbers are over 80, and they're still looking for bodies.
That sucks. I'm gonna pull up some pictures of Greece here.
You mentioned Agenda 21 earlier, and a couple of nights ago I was looking at a map of U.S. zip codes, actually, and it struck me that there are a lot of areas out west, especially, that still don't have zip codes assigned to them because nobody lives there, right?
Well,
so it makes me wonder if the places with all that don't have zip codes are where you're going to find all the deep underground military bases and whatnot.
Wow. Okay, I see a picture here of what you were talking about with the streets, following the street. It was like, why are all these cars just on fire?
Like, the cars are on fire, but you see the houses are fine and the trees are fine. The trees right over the cars.
Yeah, the
The
trees are
tree-
scorched a little bit, but they're not like you would expect looking at the car.
If it was a forest fire, the trees should be burnt.
Yeah, I mean, they're not burnt up, they're scorched. You can see that, fire was licking on them off the cars, but they didn't catch fire and go up.
We're talking
But
about
you-
a
you
biblical
look at the-
catastrophe
you
in
look
this
at-
wonderful area of Mahdi, he said. Jesus.
Yeah, you're looking at wheels are
it's
melted.
crazy. That-
All the glass is broken out and melted. Some of the photos show the melted glass inside the car where it broke first. So, yeah.
Let's see what they say caused the fires. Fires are a reoccurring problem during the hot, dry summer months in Attica. Officials quoted by AFP news agencies have suggested the current blazes may have been started by arsonists looking to loot abandoned homes. 15 fires had started simultaneously on 3 different fronts. Yeah, arsonists, alright. Just not with a fucking Molotov. There's no way, man.
Well,
It's the
there
Greek.
were,
It's the Greek finance ministers burning money. Oh,
well, the Greek government is facing calls to resign because so many people died
Oh,
and in the fire, and the guy that was in charge had asked for American help, and they sent drones. Now, what is a drone going to do?
drop chemicals.
check stuff out. Like, do like a stunt flip over the rubble. Yeah, I don't know. I guess what kind of drone is it? A Predator drone, maybe? Like, is they gonna go blow up the fire?
Say.
That sounds American as fuck. We're gonna blow up the fire. I don't put it out.
Well, don't they make those air fuel bombs that suck all the, suck all the air within like a certain meter? Yeah, that'll put it out.
You know, you can put out fire with this frequency too, sound frequency.
Really?
Yep.
That I'd like to see.
Oh,
more
you're
on.
showing
that
my
sounds kind of far
you're
out.
showing my comments about the articles. Yeah.
Oh no, that's not going out on the stream, Penny. That's my left screen. They don't get to see what's
Oh,
on my
okay.
left screen.
They don't get to
Yeah,
see
it's
that.
the super
All
secret
right.
left
No.
screen.
Shh. They're not even supposed to know it exists. You spoiled it, man.
I'm sorry.
What we
No, I'm just trying to pull up more pictures and stuff so we could talk about it.
Yeah, the one that the Daily Mail article there would show the pictures.
Now you're gonna get attacked by Russian hackers.
Express, BBC. I got
So
the
they can see
Guardian,
your
the
left screen.
Express, and the BBC. Oh, there it is. You're right. My bad. I can't see. Oh my. 10 tourists drowned when boat capsizes trying to rescue them from Greek fires as death toll rises to 74, including 26 who hugged each other as they were overcome by flames near a cliff's edge. God damn, that sucks.
That's some
man.
Final Destination shit right there.
Yeah, it was nasty.
Wow, that's blazing. Yeah, that's blazing. Holy shit.
Jesus, that's crazy.
Yeah. These are some nasty, nasty, nasty things. They did bring out some of the kinds of things that they're using here to fight fires. The helicopters but one thing about a natural fire is it does create its own wind, but it's normally around 25-30 miles an hour.
Well, yeah,
These
in
these
Australia,
are talking about winds of 125 miles an hour.
Wow.
that's crazy.
And that's what you get with the laser weapons.
Those in Australia they have those fire tornadoes. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
So I guess if they're
they show
superheating
pictures of some of these.
that's incredible. So this is just, I guess, what we're watching here is just a montage of clips that seems to be repeating. Is this like repeating?
It might be repeating.
Yeah, I think so.
Watch the full video. What's that mean?
That means make it big.
That means give us ad revenue at Mail Online.
Oh, I can't hear anything.
But yeah,
Okay. Don't talk to me.
that's in the one in Greece.
That's that diesel fuel. Oh shit, man, that is terrible, dude.
Yeah, it is.
I wonder if that's what it was like. Was there any like people that survived that like witnessed it? Like, were there like fire tornadoes rolling up the street? I mean, what's it?
Yeah, well, that was what they were describing. Was what some of them showed pictures where every time there was a new fire start, there were blue flashes of light that were hitting from the sky that started it. So,
Really?
yeah, somewhere in all that stuff I sent you, there's a video about it.
We'll see if we can get there. It's pretty crazy. Oh, it's still burning. So, what are they doing to combat the fire down there where you're at? You said that one was most likely a natural fire.
Puddles of aluminum.
Oh yeah, look at that. That was a bike.
Wow.
Such quiet. Anyway,
I mean, what do you say to that? You know, say to scenes of such unmitigated destruction, like. And if this is something being used by, the government's done lots of horrible shit. Giving people blankets covered in diseases and dropped nuclear bombs and done all sorts of, bombed their own neighborhoods, sprayed poison on people's weed crops. Like, there's no shortage of fuckery that the government has resorted to against its own people in the past. So, for me to imagine that, somebody's up there dicking around with directed energy weapons and just firing them off at random and, hey, whatever they hit, they hit. Like...
Nah, I don't think they would be just doing that shit randomly. There's got to be, like, specific reasons for targeting, whether it be Agenda 21 or something completely different. I don't think they would be doing that shit
Would they
randomly.
be so brazen to use secret technology against political opponents?
Yeah, I'm sure that shit happens all the time.
Yeah, I'm sure that happens all the time. But
I guess when you have all the money and all the guns, you can kind of do what you want, huh?
They've shot heads of state with ice pellets that contained plutonium. Mm-hmm. That's why so many of the Latin American leaders have died from cancer.
I mean, and then just more recently, the sonic attacks or whatever it was on the diplomats in Cuba, and then there was more cases of it popping up, across the world. China.
Well, that started with the Russian embassy. With our embassy in Moscow was targeted by the Russians with microwave weapons in the 1960s. And that's how we figured out it was going on, and the Americans started doing it to others. And now we're doing it to ourselves with Wi-Fi.
Where did they go? All right, so let's see what else we got here.
You mentioned the smart meters earlier. Do you think that that the whole 5G thing is going to play or plays into this at all, or is that a factor here?
I'm not sure. 5G requires that there be a direct line of sight with no trees in the way, so they may be burning some of them to put in 5G.
That's interesting.
Yeah, here you go, the airborne laser.
Okay, it's another one.
Yeah,
of those,
that was one of the first advertisements for the lasers.
This looks like it's kind of dated.
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe.
Yeah, it was from 2007.
Wow.
So that's why I'm saying we've had this tech public since 2007.
Well, I mean, it's been public longer than that, because I remember knowing about that plane around 2001.
Yeah.
So,
So I guess this is just explaining the connectivity and everything between them.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what it says.
So the question is,
this
to
comes
what
up
end?
with, to what end? Complete mastery of the planet. It sounds like what's the name of the bad guys in the James Bond movies? Sounds like them.
What is the name of the bad guys in the James Bond movies?
It's a different bad guy every time.
Oh.
Most of the movies are named after the bad guys. Like Dr. No was named after Dr. No, and you know,
Like gold member.
Well, yeah. So this is one of your typical end of the world kind of scenarios where you've got a crazy fuck that wants to run the world, except that it's the American government. So yeah,
All
these
right.
are
So I got some.
fires.
This is the one that's burning right now, I guess. I'm assuming. No, this is the car fire.
The car fire is still burning.
Okay, that's the one that's going on right now.
So
that's crazy how everything's got that orange to it. Like,
well, our sky has been looking like that in the mornings here. And we're 40 miles away from it. That white, dirty color.
Mm-hmm.
mm-hmm. So for anybody else that's listening that's out there, like what are some things that you should do besides just get the hell away from it, or have an underground house? But if the fire's coming right for you, what do? Just hit the road and scram.
What you do is you collect up your animals, you collect up your family photos, you collect up what you're going to need to file taxes, and you
just
get
leave
it all.
that. Leave the tax stuff.
You take birth certificates, IDs, anything that you're going to need to file for help later. You take all of that with you as soon as you see it. Because when they come to evacuate you, they make you leave your animals. So your beloved Fluffy is going to be dead. There was a man who had pet tortoise. 150-year-old tortoise was hibernating under his bed, and they made him leave it.
Wow, that's awful.
So this is the if you're to the point where you're in the path, leave sooner rather than later.
Yeah,
Now,
not to mention the traffic, I'd imagine.
Exactly. There were people in Greece who were killed on the road.
Yeah.
Because of traffic jams.
There was a movie that came out some years ago that most people in our audience will probably remember, Deep Impact, where an asteroid hits the Earth, and they give you a perfect vision of exactly what will happen right here in Virginia if a giant asteroid were ever to come careening towards the Earth. Yeah, 64 would be a parking lot the entire way. Your only hope of survival would be back roads.
Exactly. Until they crossed the main road, and then you'd be in trouble.
Yeah.
But you leave sooner rather than later so that you're at the front of the traffic jam instead of the back.
Let's see, what time is it? 8:35. I'm going to go ahead and open up the phone lines. Everybody out there listening wants to call in and maybe weigh in on what they think might be going on with the fires or anything at all. Just go ahead and give us a call. Number's right there, 528-8130. That's 757-528-8130. Up there.
Yes,
up there.
it's that number. But,
yeah, so let's see, where were we? We were in Greece. We're talking about Greece. Greece fire.
Yeah, that was pretty nasty. And the government there is being told that they are at fault and they are blaming the EU austerity. But it still comes down to they had something like 3,000 fire trucks in the country that they can't use because they haven't been able to do the maintenance for the last decade. The things are sitting there broke down.
So we got this article here. No apology, no resignation. Pressure grows on government over fire deaths. Let's look at that pretty picture. Alright, so what's going on? Greece's opposition accused the government on Friday of arrogance and an utter failure to protect lives in responding to a devastating wildfire, as questions remain unanswered over how at least 86 people died in the town of Mati. Is that how you say that name?
Yeah.
Survivors of one of the worst Greek disasters in living memory already heckled a government minister when he visited the scene less than 17 miles east of Athens on Thursday. But on Friday, an official 3 days of mourning declared by Prime Minister Alexis Tsipras ended and his opponents immediately went on the offensive. The main opposition, New Democracy Party, criticized a government news conference on Thursday night where not one word of apology was heard. The government had just added unbridled check to abject failure in protecting lives and people's property. You know what? I can't think of a single instance where the government has actually apologized for something, man.
Nope.
Well, they do in Greece.
Oh, okay.
They do in Greece.
And
they have a culture of nobody pays taxes until they're absolutely forced to, and that if they can cheat you, they will. That's the way that it has been presented to me. So I'm not saying that they're evil people, because my impression is that people everywhere are pretty much the same.
Well, and to me, resisting taxes is, resisting taxation is, I say that's virtuous because the state itself is evil. So
Civil Protection Minister Nikos Toskas told a news conference that the government suspected arson was behind Monday night's blaze, which trapped dozens of people in their cars trying to escape walls of flames. Man, that sucks, me trying to get out and then all of a sudden just fire tornado all up on your car.
Yeah, you're inside your car and this thing hits, or you're inside your house and it hits and you have no way to escape. That's been part of the problem at Santa Rosa, that the EPA sealed people's homes off where they weren't allowed to go back in, because the EPA was looking for bodies.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, some guy, who was that guy that was telling us about some kind of thing that happened during Andrew? Like, allegedly there was like way more people that died in that than they said.
Mm-hmm.
And they were in there and they sealed it all off because of the bodies. They wanted to get all the bodies or whatever.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, why the hell would you do that?
You gotta scoop them up before the adrenochrome goes bad.
Makes sense.
Well, there were over 1,000 people died in Puerto Rico after Maria, and none of those are in the official count either. They were supposedly natural causes.
Shit. Well, natural disaster, natural causes, I guess, technically. Is that right, technically?
Mm-hmm.
It's fucked up, though. Wow. Yeah, that took them forever to get the power back on over there.
There are parts of it that still don't have the power back on. And the Republicans in Congress are saying, well, why can't you just use coal or oil? Because we have such an abundance of it in the United States. Well, it has to be shipped there. So you're paying shipping charges, which triple the cost of it. So it ends up where it's cheaper to put solar on the roof.
So let me ask you a question. Supposing that these are, well, a lot of them anyway, are attacks. Now, do you think it's strictly a surface level thing, or you think it might go a little higher than that?
I think that The local people who run the planning department know which areas are going to be attacked. I'm not sure they know exactly when. And they're not giving people warning. They're letting people go ahead and buy and live happy lives in those areas until one day it just goes up and poof. I think they're complicit because the ones in Santa Rosa, they held a meeting that they were rezoning an area for Stack'em Pack'em
Apartment flat type things.
Yes. And that was, well, gee, the next month that area had a fire. And none of those people are being allowed to rebuild. They're being forced to sell the property.
Funny how that works, huh?
Well,
yeah.
let me rephrase the question. Do you think that these lasers are being mounted into conventional aircraft, or you suppose it's like a Treb flying by with a laser weapon,
or something in orbit?
Like, how deep? Like, is this surface level squabbling, or is this Agenda 21 and like something like who's behind Agenda 21? Is it the UN, or is it bankers, or
the cabal,
lizard people?
I think it's Agenda 21, and that it's the elites are doing this worldwide, and that most people throughout the planet are not paying attention to what technology is actually available to do this. And the common guy on the street is thinking it's just a fire. Yes, you found the maps. That's the map. If it's in red and you live there, you won't.
I'm working on it. Alright, now they can see
And
that.
I haven't seen one for the rest of the world, just for the continental United States.
So essentially what they're trying to do is get everybody out of the undeveloped land, the natural...
It's even developed land.
No, yeah, and they want to pack they want to turn that developed land into undeveloped land, and they want to pack everybody into these tight little city centers, living on top of one another.
Exactly. Where you can walk everywhere you need to go.
Mm-hmm.
Here, I just found this thing. It's from National Defense Magazine. This is dated March 20th. Raytheon demonstrates directed energy weapons at Army exercise. And they got this, it looks like a shipping container with a big crate on top of it. And they took down 45 drones during an exercise using a high-energy laser and a high-power microwave, company executives said March 20th. The company showed off its technology in early December at the U.S. Army Fire Center of Excellence's Maneuver Fires Integrated Experiment, or MFIX, in Fort Sill, Oklahoma. Already, our adversaries, including our low-tech adversaries, have found ways to take advantage of these drone systems and modify them to be a significant threat to the warfighter and our coalition forces abroad, said Evan Hunt, high-energy laser business development lead at Raytheon's Space and Airborne Systems Division. So far, the U.S. military has struggled to find a cost-effective way to neutralize these threats, he said during a briefing with reporters in Arlington, Virginia. However, directed energy platforms may be the key to solving that challenge. During the demonstration, Raytheon displayed two separate technologies, a high-energy laser atop a dune buggy, and a high-power microwave that, when used in tandem, could provide the military for an affordable and effective counter-drone capability. High-energy laser and high-power microwave are the two cost-effective solutions when it comes to cost per engagement because they're pure energy, Hunt said. So the laser offers the ability to target a rogue drone precisely, or a car or a house or whatever. The microwave has a larger beam and can take out multiple unmanned aerial vehicles one at a time, or at one time if they're flying in a path formation. The cost per engagement is a matter of cents, he noted. Mm-hmm. So this is really just what it comes down to, being able to destroy stuff for pennies on the dollar.
Well, when I was researching the lasers mounted on the planes, they said that it never runs out of fuel. The laser doesn't. that as long as the plane is in the air, its engines run the laser. So its number of hits are completely unlimited. So they can go through and zap, 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 zap the whole time they're in the air, however long they want to go.
Now, going back to this Agenda 21 map, the biodiversity thing, and the little green dots are the city centers, okay?
The little green dots are where people will be allowed to live.
The yellow is highly regulated use, so I'm assuming that's going to be for business. And then
Farms.
they've also got the NAFTA superhighway zone. So, I mean, yeah, there you have it. I mean, live in that little tiny area, everyone. So everyone can't fit in there, obviously, so...
They've been obviously trying to kill us off for a long time. The air is poisoned, chemtrails, the water is poisoned. They've been giving us fluoride for decades. That's why nobody cares what's happening. GMO food causes your gut to stop working, and it gives you cancer. Fluoride gives you cancer.
Yeah.
You know,
Fluoride.
we've got all.
Well, and cancer itself is an industry. You don't make any money off curing people. You make money off treating them and treating them and treating them until they die.
Yeah, and then once they die, they kidnap them to turn them into cyborgs for the SSP.
Or just sell off the adrenochrome.
Yeah, if they're children,
If
they
the,
prefer.
if the Alpha Drag party bus comes rolling through the system.
The Alpha Drag party bus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's one for the logbooks.
So yeah, it's one big mess where they're killing us off and making money off of us as they go. So.
Well, and then there's also the question of, is Earth being terraformed by hostile off-worlders?
Right.
Yes.
There's all types of different stories about terraforming. Have you heard anything about that?
And how does that factor into this whole thing with the fires? Is that part of it? Is maybe doing this for the sake of the environmental change itself, why they're doing it? You know what I mean? Because it puts a shitload of particulate matter into the atmosphere. It definitely helps function as a greenhouse gas. It's not going to help, you know what I mean?
The climate I was told they were terraforming for was hotter, drier, and more radioactive.
So basically, like,
well, what kind of species would
like
live
Vegas.
in that? I guess reptilians?
Yeah.
My
course.
understanding is it's a reptilian race, yes.
Some cold-blooded bastards.
Why can't they go, do that somewhere else?
I know, right? You could cool Venus down and get a whole planet just by putting a sunshade over it.
There you go. That wouldn't be hard at all.
They already have bases on Venus.
Yeah.
They want Earth.
Well, an interesting thing about Venus is the cloud city action. So, like, up in the clouds above the, the hot layer is like a livable place. So, like, you could live in the cloud city like Star Wars.
Yeah. Well, what about all the parallel timelines where Venus isn't a shithole?
Whoa. Okay.
That's a whole new bag of cats.
We need to create a sample. All right, so I
have enough trouble dealing with the timeline I live in. I try not to think about other timelines.
Well, let's see. I just found something at LosAngelesSkywatch.org.
Well, hold on. I just want to. I pulled up the Wikipedia entry for directed energy weapon, and there's like 70 examples. No, it's not really that much. It's a lot of examples though. Like Boeing, United States government nuclear weapons research, Soviets, Boeing YAL discontinued. So
yeah, it's like
precision airborne standoff.
People want to tell me I'm crazy, but the evidence is out there.
Well, it's public. Like space lasers aren't a conspiracy theory anymore. Particle beams aren't a conspiracy theory. This shit is real. It's out there.
Yeah, it's real. It's out there. It's publicly released by the government, and nobody even looks.
Yeah, and they're exclusively held by the biggest gangs of psychopaths on the planet, governments.
Mm-hmm.
What is going on
then
there? Oh, I'm sorry.
And then if you come out and you say, well, the government shot me with a directed energy weapon, you're crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And you need to be on drugs.
Even when there's mounting evidence that is happening to our own diplomats.
Yeah.
We have one who can see.
Exactly. I can see. You guys have been listening to me long enough. You guys are pretty aware.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, well, just in case you just tuned in, once again, we do have the phone lines opened up for you guys, 757-528-8130. Give us a call if you want to weigh in on directed energy weapons, fires, if you've got a UFO abduction story. Hey, maybe you just had a memory about being in a secret space program and you need somebody to talk to about it.
We're here. It's Wednesday night. We're hanging out. Go ahead, give us a call, 757-528-8130.
Alright, so... Jeez, man.
Tell us what you think.
Now, what the hell can we do? I mean, obviously, people have to be aware of the problem before you can really do anything, but... Say more people were aware. I mean, like, what could we do to stop, like... It's a freaking tinfoil hat for the neighborhood or something? I mean, what the hell are you supposed to do?
Well, the first thing that I would tell people to do is to go to their local council meeting, county board meeting, or parish, because some states have parishes instead of counties, and go to the meetings. And if talking about ICLEA, I forget what the letters stand for, or they're talking about sustainable planning, or they're talking about Agenda 21, or now they're calling it Agenda 2030.
Oh, that's the one where it's like there's no more sexes? Is that the one? Or is that like Agenda 56?
What?
I don't know if the no more sexes is involved or not, but go to your planning committees and oppose this, because if they're caught on their own territory, they don't have the balls to put it through if the locals know about it and oppose it. So that will help your local area. And we all have to do this in our own local areas, because...
Hey, we got a call.
Let's see what's going on over here.
But yeah, you're right. Local action is the most effective thing you can do.
I think I just hung up on
Right. What?
You didn't.
Sorry, you're going to have to call back, my bad.
Huh.
But I was looking, and I think that 2030 is the one where they're trying to do away with genders. I mean, what the fuck?
Yeah, here the Republicans are pushing fertility, and Agenda 2030 is pushing intersex everything.
I mean, I don't have a problem if that's what you want to do, but you don't. Why is you got to force it on me?
Yeah. Just do what you want.
Like, what if I want to be a man? What if I like being a man? I can't be a man anymore because somebody's feels might get hurt? I mean, when does this shit end, dude?
Be who you are and be happy.
Yeah, Caller, you're live on Reality Brief. How's it going?
Oh, it's absolutely nobly exciting. How are you doing?
Doing
Great.
pretty good. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Oh, we don't have one, but we're called Karen Ann Lusick McDonald. Thank you
Okay.
for being there and understanding. I'm enjoying your show from the background here.
How's it going, Karen? How can we help you?
It's exciting. It's nobly exciting, and I'm really enjoying. Penny's amazing, and so I really have to congratulate you, and I really appreciate Penny and all she's doing out there and bringing this stuff out forward.
She just got put into the call, so Hopefully she can hear you now.
Awesome.
Penny, are you there?
I can hear now.
Awesome. Sorry about that.
Awesome.
It's
Awesome.
kind of tricky to get that working, but... So, thanks for calling. What's on
Yeah,
your
no,
mind tonight?
I'm. Well, actually, I was just watching the live feed here on YouTube. So I really appreciate, Penny, what you've been doing and bringing a lot of this stuff forward with the secret space program and unveiling some of the stuff with the direct energy weapons. It's very, very important. I was involved especially around this area around Saskatoon, but with Fort McMurray, and gathering some of the accelerant that was left on the ground after Fort McMurray's direct energy weapon fire, arson.
Ooh.
So I'm also, as you're aware, doing a lot with Gaia's tribal forces, which is the tribes forces, which is Micmac Chief Patty Brassard. And I'm off the Shwetmac tribes out by Kamloops, but I'm over in Saskatoon now. So thank you for being there and your understanding. I appreciate everything. And so I just wanted to let people know here that part of that, we actually had people, and I've looked after people because my background is quantum medicine and radionics and biowarfare.
Radionics?
With a specialty, yes. I'm a scalar and biowarfare specialist in biofeedback using Genius or SCIO technology. So it's kind of like having a quantum nurse and doctor all in one. So we actually can see what happened, and some of my clients were actually under some of these, if you want to say, deliberate set fires. And one of the links I left you that if the audience wants to look at that we did with Dr. and Judge Alfred Laminart Weber for Crimes Against Humanity, we did at News Inside Out. So we actually had a live feed camera that you might want to look at, Penny, because we actually had the live satellite view when they were set.
Wow, that's pretty
So we
far
can
out.
actually see where they're always being preset, and they're being preset right now over these deep bases and transit systems, because a lot of the areas too are removed, the tribes, the water systems, and they've got a lot of children and women held hostage in these areas. So that's what the vets are doing right now, is rescuing and flooding these bases. So it really is a relocation thing. But there were people actually underneath it. One of my clients that I looked after, because they've been very sick, as you can imagine, when they get relocated from Cranbrook or anything else, they're inhaling like a biofilm. So that biofilm is a form of like nanotechnology or nanobot. So
this
that's
really
what
is
I
a
do with the
land
biofeedback.
a land grab and population control type thing.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And the thing is, the biofilm comes in with the nanotechnology and rips through the digestive system. And so it's not cancer, it's not strokes. We're seeing a huge abundance of like memory loss and strokes immediately from this type of thing, because the girls that stood underneath, literally, you know, they've been in my center here in Saskatoon. They said there was like basically there was a dust. So obviously it was the accelerant, the nano dust, and then it was like a yellow and then an orange and then a huge black ring, and then her and one of the firefighters stood there, and it was like a plasma, like almost a Tesla coil that went from one area to the other, almost like they triangulated the area, and the whole thing ignited within less than a minute. And they were sitting at ground zero at Fort Mac when it happened, and she's been sick for 2 years ever since. We've been trying to help her.
They've been doing the chemtrails here for a decade now, and the amount, the chemicals that they're using in it, all it takes is one more thing to be dropped, and you've got a chemical accelerant. And so
exactly, so seeding.
The entire Sierras, the entire range, and we're talking about it goes, it just flows into the Cascades. So we're talking almost the entire West Coast. This mountain range is covered with this almost accelerant that needs one more ingredient to set the whole place on fire.
And that's what people, you're absolutely correct. That's what they need to realize. Yeah.
It's not an accident. This is being done to us on purpose. They want us out of here, and they will burn the forest to get rid of us. Right. The cabal is like a psychopathic AI, that predatory pandemic. And so
They were given a proclamation by us to leave. I've been told that the Draco representative did surrender to the Alliance, but that hasn't stopped. They're the last kick at the cat. They're going everywhere, and it's just horrendous. So we are watching, and Patty Broussard, I would suggest a couple of us get on Skype, and you can see directly, because we have live feeds, so we're watching everything constantly on surveillance right now.
Nice.
And right now,
caller,
our thing is, yeah, we're going to get an enclave, just so you know. The forecast is to get an enclave that will be a decontamination center that's radiation EMP proof, and that's what we're focusing on north of here. So we're going to have to relocate and decontaminate right now because the radiation levels are not livable now.
Damn.
Okay, so that's our focus, is getting an enclave, and that's at Project Ascension or Remolity. So we can get them out, or you might want to have Patty if she's prepared to come out on a public forum.
Yeah, and if you guys want to come on the show and talk about it, we're definitely open to it. But
anyway, thank you, Penny, and thank you for putting this forward.
Caller, would you like to hold on with us?
No, we're gonna jump to the break. So let's see, how do I do this? Okay, undo that one. Penny, you there? Magic, it's magic.
No, she's on hold.
All right, let me unhold it. Oh, she's got to undo the one that she's in. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and jump to the break now, and we will see you guys on the other side.
System, the company store, the paradigm of absolute control. And that's why we're just out here doing simple things, pointing out that we're meant to be in nature and be natural. And this is where we find the source that God made to transcend the New World Order. And that's why they want to try to keep us out of it.
I'm angry. I've had enough of these people. They're a bunch of Christian murderous scum. They're on giant death factories keeping babies alive and selling their body parts. What more do you need to know about these people? I go out and face these scum. They literally crawl out from under rocks. They have green looking skin and they run around screaming, we love Satan, we wanna eat babies. I have them on video. Hillary's in the creepy weird sick stuff, man. She sleeps in the same room with that creepy weirdo woman whose mother wears a hood over her head. What the hell? That woman number one is ugly. Imagine how bad she smells, man. I'm told her and Obama just stink. Obama and Hillary both smell like sulfur. Literal vampire pot and the goblins are hobbling round coming after us. My spirit gets close to that evil and I feel it go. We're such self-centered crap. We don't even notice hell itself rising up against us. Millions of pointed people of the very worst type, and I'm so pissed. We're gonna stab your daughter at the mall. We're gonna stab your wife, your son. We're gonna stab you with a butcher knife, and then the police chief is gonna say, we love our Somalis, we love our Muslims. Oh, they're so good, oh, they're so sweet.
Like beef. I smell 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 like beef.
this fucking thing over here. Where'd it go? This thing right here to Amtrak, and then try to see what else we got to say about it.
Squeeze. Want to. Already 1.5% of all babies born in Western Europe and America.
Yeah.
We'll need to
That's
continue.
the thing, Dan. You don't know what the fuck you're talking
about
at all.
Much money,
Shut up.
Continue reading this article.
Yeah, well, you
thanks
know
to the
that.
scientists. Eat my balls.
How about you donate to our Patreon?
All right. Oh, that was an incredible douchebag tonight, man.
Yeah.
Я пришел дать эту песню.
Hey guys, we are back for hour 2, the hour of power. You can thank Dan for no bumper.
We tried.
Thanks, Dan.
There were technical difficulties.
Yeah. So anyway, if you enjoy what you're seeing, if you like the show, we've got many places for you to visit. You can go to realitybrief.net. That'll forward you to our Facebook page, which I think the rest of the information is up there. If not, Dan, get on that, dude. What are you doing?
Wow.
Delegation. Okay. So anyway, you hit us up at Bandcamp. It's realitybrief.bandcamp.com. You could download some shows, donate some money if you want. You just click pay what you want for the thing, and you get it. It's great. So anyway, We've got a surprise mystery guest coming in tonight with Penny. Is Tomas? Tomas, how you doing, man?
Hey, what's up?
What's going on, man? Sorry, man. We were trying to get you on to fill in for that spot when I was in the hospital and I couldn't get on. So
yeah,
it looks like this works.
Well, talking about the California wildfires. What I want to ask, what's you guys' opinion of the conditions of cities like San Francisco and LA? I mean,
what do you mean?
With I guess the idiotic policies, basically San Francisco's turned into one giant toilet.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, I guess I'm glad I don't live there.
Shit.
I mean, I live in my own toilet, but that's another story.
Yeah.
I mean, everywhere is pretty much a toilet, though. I mean,
well, that's
for a studio apartment in a shitty neighborhood surrounded by a bunch of feces and needles everywhere. I mean,
it sounds like Portsmouth.
Yeah, I mean, it sucks, but they don't need to die in fire. Is that? I don't understand.
That's true.
But like I've been seeing this for like 20 years, like and it's like, are they deliberately trying to get people to leave the state of California?
Yes, they are.
It's a combination of politics and the fires.
They've made it impossible to live here unless you are middle class or higher.
Way higher if you live in the Bay Area. Mm-hmm. Way higher.
I have 2 kids that live in San Jose, and neither one of them has their own place because it's too expensive. They are families renting rooms in other people's houses.
Yeah, I remember that during the .coms, you'd have like 6 people renting out a studio apartment in the TL just to make it.
Yeah.
Well, now they're doing it all over the whole area.
Yeah.
In fact, where I live is in the mountains, and we're considered a rural, poor area, and we have a lot of people who are on assistance that are renting bedrooms from homes because they can't qualify for a place.
Well, then didn't they just recently in LA make it illegal to live in a vehicle or an RV?
Yeah.
Yes.
I wouldn't be surprised. That sounds like something to do in LA.
Well, you guys check it out.
Then again, in LA, why would you want to live in a car? Just
because you don't have a house and because you don't have the money to rent anything else.
Yeah, but we're talking LA. If you slept, you end up getting carjacked trying to sleep.
And,
it would be pretty rough, man.
Well, right before we get back to our core content, there was something that came across our news feed recently that I just had to share because it reminded me of something special that's homegrown right here in Virginia. This headline: Bigfoot erotica takes center stage in Virginia congressional race. In one of the more bizarre episodes of the midterm elections this year, the race for Virginia's 5th congressional district has come down to a fight over Bigfoot erotica and whether or not one candidate is into it. Democratic candidate Leslie Cockburn tweeted on Sunday that in addition to campaigning with a white supremacist, Republican candidate Denver Riggleman was a devotee of Bigfoot erotica. Both charges that Riggleman denied in an interview with CNN.
Political races get nasty out here, man.
My opponent, LBJ used to say that he loved to accuse his political opponent of fucking a horse, just because he knew that his political opponent wasn't actually screwing a horse, but he just wanted to see them deny it, right? So she says, my opponent Denver Riggleman, running mate of Corey Stewart, was caught on camera campaigning with a white supremacist. Now he has been exposed as a devotee of Bigfoot erotica. This is not what we need on Capitol Hill, Cockburn tweeted along with a photo of a nude Bigfoot, apparently from Riggleman's Instagram. And here it is. There's a big old picture of Bigfoot with a dong hanging out. And it's censored, of course.
Oh, man.
So, yeah, just not too recently there was a video that... one of my personal favorite bands. These guys are from Richmond. They're called Guar. Not too long ago, they lost their frontman Dave Brocky, who was say what you want about him. He was a pretty talented musician. Like all these guys were like art geeks from Richmond, and they actually put out a movie called Sex Squatch: The Legend of Bloodstool Creek, and it was it was pretty damn funny. So I just wanted to plug that here on the show. Between Sex Squatch and Bigfoot Erotica, Virginia's a fun state.
All right, but before we jump back to, man, we do have one more thing we need to get to. This is a new segment we're going to be doing called Legit or Fake, thanks to Tess, our wonderful shitpost master.
Thank you, Tess.
All right, guys. Damn, I sent the wrong screen. All right, so I'm going to play this video, and I'm going to have to do this twice, I guess.
The whole thing?
No, I'm going to play this video, and then we're going to see if it's legit or if it's fake. All right, you guys see the video over there?
Yeah, hold on, let me, yeah, I see it. There's no... What is it, Arabic?
Yeah, there is no nearby video documenting the mysterious orbs. Not true? We have people with the courage to capture this video.
Oh, hey, show it!
Okay, street lamp? What am I looking at here?
Jeez, could you get any lower quality of video?
Hey, this is actually a time traveler. He was coming from the year 2004. He brought his camera phone.
2004 to what year?
to the
Or
other
from
day.
now
To the
to
other day.
2004.
No, he time traveled from 2004 with his
to 2018.
with his camera phone to 2018 to take this video. It's so hard to tell, man. It's such
I see
low
a
quality
large
video.
orange blob.
Yeah, I mean, but it's such low quality video.
Yeah.
It could be a real bright street post, you know? Like not a street, but whoa, look at that. That one's even brighter.
It could be flares.
That's not
It could be
flare.
something reflecting.
I mean, it totally could be After Effects too. It's like that's a. So many,
Yeah, it could be done. You could actually be easier to do
The way
in
it lights
Blender
up the
and
landscape
just
is
like
pretty weird.
superimpose it and then reduce the quality.
There's somebody standing there.
Well,
Yeah.
What?
cover up in the editing. Oh, I see people there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then they're looking up at it like, whoa, look at that.
If it were ball lightning, it would have fried him already.
Yeah, that ain't ball lightning.
Yeah.
Whoa, we got a balloon made out of highly reflective material shining a light on it.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, it looks like a cube.
Changing shape. It's pretty good, man. I mean, you know, outside of CGI, I can't think of any like what could they be doing down there to do that? You know, like they're throwing shit around at each other. I mean, did
Yeah,
they make
why
that?
would they be throwing shit around at each other with that thing floating over them?
What if it's like a clear balloon full of LEDs?
What if they're like summoning Cthulhu?
I know. I want to learn this ritual.
There are those who will say that is fabricated and unreal. Why is there a question mark?
Maybe that's how it's translated.
English is a second language.
With all this number of people decide to rig the video? Yeah? Fuck yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
What do you think? Only one, like, people that make fake videos are only one? Remember that one with the helicopter in Spain and all that?
Uh-huh.
That was elaborate as hell.
Yeah, or the underwater UFO that
It popped up and then the jets flew by.
Yeah.
And they had the helicopter come out and stuff.
I would say the one for me that was the hardest to spot as possibly fake was the one with the UFO and the snow in the background.
I don't think I've seen that one.
Because that would be really hard to do without making it obvious that was superimposed. Like, trying to do, like, keyframing on a white background is not very easy.
Large size, but its movement is similar to widespread videos and whether they have the ability to appear and disappear and change its size. That could be flares. That could easily be flares, though. Because, I mean, look how they plop out and then they dissipate. That's what flares look like.
And you could take that footage right there, keyframe the background and superimpose it in front of those two guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you could do that.
Okay, the first video, it seemed like they were actually filming an object.
Yeah.
It looked like a three-dimensional object in front of them that was actually causing light to come out across the ground. But I'm not convinced that it was something out of the ordinary that wasn't made out of.
It's strange that they're down there. You could see them looking up at it, and with the cable, I don't know, were they manipulating something? It makes me think that they were there fucking with an object. You know what I mean? Not like something came.
That's what it looks like to me. It looks like somebody took a really large balloon that was made out of some highly reflective material, and they shined a bright light on it.
And again, these orbs look like flares to me too. Now, if it would show up like that and chill and then start zooming around and shit, yeah, no way that's a flare. But how these just plop out and then disappear.
Phantom Spy says they were holding ropes.
Yeah, it kind of looked like they might have been holding ropes.
Yeah,
or maybe
so
some cables.
Could have been like a Chinese lantern type thing.
Well, when I was in the 3rd grade, my teacher decided to make a video movie of King Arthur, and I got the role as Lancelot. And the way we made Excalibur glow is we shined a light on it behind the camera. Yeah, it looks like they're doing the same effect there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, like maybe it's just like a square helium balloon, and they're shining a bad signal at it from behind.
Exactly.
That's possible.
Yeah, that's pretty good. So
I'm gonna say it's a real video, but it's not a genuine
phenomena.
Yeah, not a genuine phenomenon.
That's what I think at this point too. I mean, without any more information or higher quality video or anything.
Also, if you look at the other orb sightings, the ones that are like quote unquote more legit, they're space and time. They're not affected by space and time. So,
right.
They might appear in the foreground, the background, different sizes. They move too. They don't just float there.
Mm-hmm.
And also, the orbs are semi-transparent.
I guess that would be hard to photograph, though. I mean, if there's light kicking off of them, you know what I mean? It's just gonna translate as to a big flare,
Have you ever heard of the House of Mystery near Grants Pass, Oregon?
No.
Apparently, space and the perception of space is totally altered. Educated guess, an ET craft must have crashed there.
Oh, yes. I know what you're talking about.
Somebody tried to build a house and it collapsed in this really bizarre pattern because of the gravitational shifts. The reason they don't allow anybody to take any photographs is because every time you do, orbs will show up on the footage. Every single time. So they just
there's a mystery spot in Santa Cruz, California area that has weird magnetics too.
Yeah, that place in, what was it, Oregon, you said? That's the place where time is actually slower, right?
Yeah, and let's say, educated guess, you're probably taller than me. Most dudes are. There's this place where you can take two different people of different heights, and all of a sudden the taller person will be shorter, the shorter person will be taller, and then you switch sides, and then the taller person all of a sudden is way taller. So the yo-yo thing, somebody had a yo-yo and it started going in really weird directions. Water flowed uphill.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. I mean, it could be a installation on the ground though, maybe, right?
I don't think that would explain why all of a sudden, like I said, it's space itself is altered,
Mm-hmm.
But the interesting thing about that, like I said before, is, they forbid people from taking pictures, and because every time they do, orbs show up on the footage. You think that would be a great way to advertise it. So why they forbid people from taking pictures?
I don't know.
If every time you do, there's proof of paranormal activity, you think they'd encourage people to take pictures.
Penny, do you know of any technology that might cause that effect? Like if it was malfunctioning or improperly shielded or something? Penny, you with us?
I'm with you. I'm having to think. there's magnetic. I don't know. I don't remember any, but it doesn't seem outside the realm of possibility.
Now, Tomas, you think it's a crashed ET ship? So what?
Something that might have happened like thousands of years ago, because of the time gravity displacement effect on the engines. But most UFOs have like the with the red mercury base. And you think that area would be totally contaminated if that was the case, even thousands of years later.
Yeah, the red
contaminated.
mercury base is radioactive, so that wouldn't even be safe to go around.
Yeah, but like what kind of radiation, depending on the half-life? Because, I mean, even then, I mean, considering, would it be any more or less radioactive than the rest of our environment at this point?
Well, yeah, I see your point, but the original German ships that were the red mercury base, the crews all died from radiation sickness.
Well, this would be way before the Germans, so maybe, you know, Atlanteans or something, or maybe. Because I know actually the red mercury based anti-gravity engines were first developed in the 1850s.
So you guys are saying the red mercury. What? Explain this to me.
Yeah, that's the kind that the German aero clubs used to use, right?
Yes. It's a mercury liquid metal.
It's like the Honeyboo engine.
The Honeyboo engine, and it spins in a vortex is how it creates the lift, and it spins fast enough that it actually turns into gold. It's that's the biggest problem with it, is that it goes so fast it turns into gold, and then it doesn't work because gold doesn't work, but it creates radiation in the process, and it killed off the crews. So that was why they went to the EM engines.
If you look at the airship mysteries of the 1800s, like the first schematic for a red mercury-based engine was in the 1850s, and then you had the 1880s.
The Sonora Air Club.
Yeah.
That was here in my county. They were involved in that, and they put them into it looked like dirigible,
one of dirigibles.
So this one apparently was witnessed in 1896 in San Francisco. So that one looks like it's got propellers on it. What the hell? That thing, how can that even
It did
fly?
have propellers on it. That did fly.
They're going to fight Kefka.
That was the original version of putting it together with the tech that was available at the time. It was basically dirigibles, and they controlled where it went, the direction, with the propellers.
Yeah, and there was a lot of UFO reports from that era. We went over a couple of them a few weeks back. Pretty interesting. All right, so what was it that you just sent me, Dan?
It's something from that Mr. MBB333's channel that apparently shows something large and bright and reflective shining a swath of energy across the entire western United States.
Yeah, check this out, guys.
And it was captured by a weather satellite.
This big here. I gotta play it on the screen too. Alright.
And now, this is from October of last year, 2017. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not really sure if that's just how the radar scan works, or...
Alright, so
if it shows... See that flash of light that moves across?
Uh-huh.
Here, go back. Let's see it again.
Could that be a ship or something?
What am I looking at?
It's right.
It's hard to see.
Yeah.
And it's probably going to be pretty hard on that tiny screen. Here, let me make it bigger for you guys.
And you see, like, it moves across the top. It's like a glint that just shines across the northern half of the United States.
Notice how the clouds look like billowing smoke. Look at the movement of the clouds when you play that.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so I still am not seeing what you're seeing, Dan. What is going on here? Why can I? What do? It's just a flash, right? Is that what we're looking at? That flash?
Yeah, right there. Look, start. Keep your eyes on, like, Washington.
Okay.
Like, Oregon and Idaho.
Alright.
And rewind it a little bit.
Well, I'm sure he'll do that. That's what he's been doing the whole time.
Yeah. And so you see this flash of light move from west to east across.
I see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I find it interesting. It might just be the way the video is, but look at the clouds. Doesn't that look like almost like the atmosphere is being burned off?
I mean,
I don't know what the atmosphere being burned off looks
I'm
like.
not
man.
an atmospheric scientist, but you know,
well, yeah, it looks cool.
Over the East Coast, it looks like pretty normal weather patterns.
Yeah.
I just from the perspective of looking at it straight up from orbit, it looks like, you know, steam instead of clouds. I don't know. Just the movement strikes me as being really weird.
So what do you make of that, man? Could that be like a ship or something, or is that just like some weird, maybe a satellite winging by? No, that was too quick to be. Was that like a time lapse? That had to be time lapse.
No,
If anything, that would be some sort of scan.
Yeah, or maybe it, maybe it was some kind of directed energy device, like something that's being like a, like we talked about
That
earlier.
was
whether or not these
like
things
a
are actually
LiDAR
mounted on
scan or
planes or mounted on something in orbit.
Hey, man, it just seemed too fast to be like. How long would a, say if I wanted to burn down a neighborhood in California, how long would I have to turn on the death laser?
Shit.
I don't think I would say
I've
more
never
anything
thought of
that
it
was
in
some sort
those
of
terms.
Scan, like they're looking for something specific.
I mean, it's possible. I don't know,
Well,
man.
more like
I mean,
how do you choose the targets of your laser fire?
but how long do you have to turn that weapon on to get the type of damage that we're seeing? I mean,
With the power it has, I would say a split second. I mean, if you're talking like a 50,000 watt laser, it's like.
Well, here at Reality Brief, we've acquired a document called Joint Doctrine Note 316, Joint Electromagnetic Spectrum Operations. And this is something from the Department of Defense. It's unclassified, dated 20 October 2016.
Put that in so I could
yeah,
up
here,
up there.
zing that down real quick.
You figure a 5 watt laser is strong enough to produce the same effect as focusing the sunlight under a magnifying glass. So you figure whatever they're using is maybe in the 5 megabyte or megawatt range. Just multiply that by a factor of 1,000,000. Yeah, they and actually all you have to do is aim it up at from like some sort of reflecting device in orbit, and you fire it up in the atmosphere, it bounces it down. I'm sure they have stuff like that.
Well, I know we got the, isn't there some thing on the moon you're supposed to be able to shine some fucking light at, and that proves that Apollo 1 or was real? You know what I'm talking about?
The what was real?
Yeah,
Apollo
I remember
1.
that one. Apollo 11.
Apollo 11, my bad. I don't know why I said 1.
Yeah.
The first one.
The first one that supposedly landed there. Yeah, they left a mirror there that you're supposed to be able to bounce off of with a laser.
Mm-hmm.
So, man, tell me about this. What is this? Joint Electromagnetic Spectrum Operations?
Yeah, this is as if it just doesn't sound ominous by itself. Joint Electromagnetic Spectrum Operations, GEMSO, are military actions undertaken by two or more services operating in concert to exploit, attack, protect, or manage the electromagnetic operational environment. These actions include all joint force transmissions and receptions of electromagnetic energy. The electromagnetic spectrum is the range of all frequencies of EM radiation. The EMS superiority is that degree of dominance in the EMS that permits the conduct of operations at a given time and place without prohibitive interference, while effective in adversaries' ability to do the same. The EMOE, or the electromagnetic operational environment, is a complex composite of the EM conditions, circumstances, and influences that affect the employment of capabilities and the decisions of the commander. So, GEMSO actions to exploit, attack, protect, and manage the EMOE rely on personnel and systems from the legacy EMS-related mission areas, e.g. signals intelligence, EMS management, electronic warfare, instead of these mission areas being planned and executed in a minimally coordinated stovepipe fashion. GEMSO guidance and processes prioritize, integrate, synchronize, and deconflict all joint force actions in the EMOE, enhancing unity of effort.
Fires.
Yeah, I was just checking that out. This is basically, I guess, a briefing on what we've been talking about, directed energy weapons. And it says right here, fires are critical enablers in supporting fires and are themselves, as EA, I don't know what that means, a form of fires. EA capabilities can produce a full range of scalable effects, including disruption, deception, denial, and destruction. Many fire systems have EMS-dependent targeting sensors, PNT requirement seekers, and C2 data links. JEMSO deconflicts these systems from civil, commercial, enemy EMS use, prioritizes and integrates them with other communications and sensings. Alright, so this is talking about... It's crazy, man. So basically here, and what year did this come out? 16?
Yeah. As a form of fires, EA is capable of creating either lethal and or non-lethal effects on a target, while ES and SIGINT provide targeting and weaponeering information for EA as well as other forms of fires. So they're talking about using fires as a weapon, using the electromagnetic spectrum to start them.
Mm-hmm.
Scalar waves, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm. We have a lot of scalar wave activity around here. It gets really bad sometimes when it's well, there was a HARP monitoring system that was online, and when it would show a red circle over the area, it would feel like my head was just going to explode.
Here you go.
You know, one of the reasons why they like to have all these foreign interventions is because it's a great way to test out all their new toys.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think they're using the new toys on us.
They rolled out the sound cannons in the last... So, well, actually, didn't they roll them out in the first Desert Storm? What was it?
The sound cannons they've been using
the LRADs.
all along.
Oh, and the microwave things that make your skin feel all hot and cook off.
Yeah.
The
and
microwave
then once
ones.
they find out it works, then they give it to the police to use as riot control.
The microwave ones that makes your skin so bad, they had to stop using those in Afghanistan because the Taliban would wrap themselves in aluminum foil and it would keep it from hitting them.
Ah,
Gay bomb.
Oh, you got it working now, I see.
Yep.
Jeez.
Finally, yeah, now it's working. Hey, but here at Reality Brief, actually, and this is one of those other things that I just have to plug. If you go on McMasterCar.com, tinfoil is so 2008. You need to upgrade to the good stuff. They actually have at McMaster.com nickel interference shielding foil. Get yourself a roll. It's pretty rad.
What is this now?
Oh yeah, what's it? Go to type in nickel foil.
Good.
They have nickel foil
EMI
now.
shielding nickel alloy.
Mm-hmm.
Here you go.
And how expensive is it?
Let's see. You can
call for price.
Yeah, call for prices.
Yeah, well,
But-
my little cap was about $60, and it's nickel embedded in nylon. It's
This
really
stuff,
comfortable.
And they sell
It
red
looks
metal foil
dorky
too.
as hell, but it's comfortable.
so for 1,000th, okay, no, it's 100th of an inch thick. It's $143 for a foot of it.
It's a 15-foot wide.
Oh yeah, but it's 15 foot wide,
Yeah, so that's pretty big.
15 by 1.
And you can get it with adhesive backing too.
You dumbass.
What?
Adhesive backing, but I don't know. That might be
if
kind of
you
cool.
need,
You can like line your
Line the inside of your
inside, like your
secret layer.
ceiling and shit. Yeah, the super secret undisclosed location is getting nickel foil lined tonight.
I hope that's good for the acoustics.
That would suck for the acoustics.
We have to put the foam over it.
Anyway, I think we derailed that enough. Where were we? Oh yeah, fire.
Yeah, here in this GEMSO thing, they mention, for instance, EW fires, e.g., high-energy laser, HPM, or EMP weapons, can be employed to damage or destroy cyberspace infrastructure to support CO within the AO. So they're talking about basically just setting shit on fire to destroy other people's, enemy servers and whatnot.
Well, let's not forget, a good chunk of the United States food production is in California as well.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's very true.
Along with 10% of the total U.S. population. But people are leaving in droves.
Yeah,
Well-
I'm saying not for long.
A good reason is because we have Scary Jerry as governor.
Well,
Now,
the
how
major
hell
reason
did he get around term limits? He was already governor once.
California Uber Ellis.
you're allowed twice is how. And he still had one, and people voted for him. Or at least the election officials said they did. Now,
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I watched them one year. They shredded 2 million ballots so that we would not have required labeling for GMOs. So I don't trust the voting commissioners at all for
Well,
anything.
they allow illegal immigrants to vote. Now,
They didn't until this year.
yeah, but that shows how desperate they're getting. I mean, one thing I've noticed, and whether you like him or dislike him, it's beside the point, but ever since Trump got in office, all of a sudden they're speeding up their agenda as fast as they can, which is exposing it. So, I mean, for the first time that I can remember, people on mainstream cable news shows are talking about the deep state.
Yeah, that's something new. I mean, I remember back when, if you talked about Bilderberg, it wasn't public yet, and you were a crazy person, and now it's in mainstream news when they meet.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But you're still crazy anyway, so forget about it.
But that was Alex Jones brought that out.
What's that, Bilderberg?
Yeah.
Man, that guy, what was his name? He'd been chasing him since day one. And
Alex Jones?
no. He's passed now. I'm trying to think of his name. But yeah, he was like the only person really reporting on it, and he'd been reporting on it since day one. Man, I can't remember the guy's name. It's escaping me at the time.
I don't know who that is. I know Stuart Webb brought him up after Alex Jones did. And there's a couple of guys I
And
follow on.
Daniel Estelin.
There's a couple of guys on Twitter that I follow that that make a point of harassing the Bilderbergers every year.
Yeah,
I
I
laughed at
actually
that tweet on Twitter.
Jim Tucker. Jim Tucker, that's his name.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jim Tucker, yep. You've been following him around since, well, I guess maybe it wasn't since day one. Let's see. Let's check out what the wiki says. But yeah, I actually got to go to the one that was in Virginia in 2008. That was pretty interesting. Watching them duck out.
Yeah, trying to tell us that they're not doing anything.
Well, now, here, I found an article, and this is from allnewspipeline.com, dated May 10th, 2015, so this is from a few years ago. Military convoy with microwave weapons seen in Jade Helm 15, permissive. Nevada provides more evidence of massive civil unrest and preparation in America, which I think they're pretty much always prepared for that. But
well, if they're prepared for it, they're not. I mean, they're allowing it to happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, have you noticed, like,
or just fomenting it as an excuse to crack
there's
down.
a protest, like, you know, they'll take, like, you know, all the weapons from, like, the red, white, and blue, the Proud Boys, but allow Antifa to carry theirs, and deliberately, like, look the other, you know, like, move them towards where Antifa is. You remember, like, the Charleston, South Carolina incident?
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, prepare for they're manipulating the civil unrest.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely.
It's
no
divide
doubt.
and conquer.
And it's one-sided, and
They did the same shit to Occupy they did to the Tea Parties.
Mhm.
Yeah, the same strategy.
Yeah.
So they do. They come in, they hijack it, they take it over, and then they fucking sow, you know, trouble in the groups. Like, what happened to the Tea Party, I think, was probably a little different than what happened to Occupy, but
Not really, but okay.
it wasn't directly
yeah, you
infiltrated
get the
by a
lowest
political
IQ
party, but-
element of whatever political persuasion, and yeah, it's like, well, look the other way while you guys go hog wild.
Well, what I've been seeing has been both sides of that particular fight have been set up, and there have been a lot of undercover police in black uniforms show up and take over. They pretend to be an anarchist group, and they call themselves Black Bloc.
Yeah,
but they're
I remember them.
but they're actually police officers that are undercover.
You know,
And they cause most of the problems at any of the protests.
yeah, almost all of them. And, you know, you could tell, too, because they're not even smart enough to take off the government-issued shoes. Like,
Exactly.
You can catch them. In fact, when I was at Bilderberg, this one guy came up to me out of nowhere, right? And he rolled up with the We Are Change New York cats, and they didn't know him, and he just was kind of like pretending he was one of them. And he came up to me and asked me for my email address. And the first thing I said to him was, "Let me see your shoes." His face went white. I think he actually was an agent, man. His face went white, and I was like, don't worry about it, dude. I just walked away. It was fucking crazy. And then I asked Luke, I was like, Luke, who the fuck was that? I don't know.
Yeah, Luke is one of the guys that I follow. He's like really cool. And I also follow Jenny Baker from Revolution News, I think it's called. We used to admin a page together, and Jenny's one of the good people.
Well, at least he didn't ask you to get in a boat and go project a movie on the side of a Navy ship out in the middle of Norfolk Harbor.
We should do a show one day and just talk about all the ridiculous shit happened when we started that change chapter out here. We were getting attacked left and right from everybody. We got put on the Southern Law. Was it Southern Poverty Law?
SPLC's group as a hate group.
Yeah, we were a racist hate group.
Oh my gosh, you guys!
Yeah, this was years ago, man.
You're somewhere centrist politics.
Yeah,
and that's why you got labeled racist, fascist.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
yeah,
you guys are actually apolitical.
Well, the entire cornerstone of my philosophy is individualism. I literally don't acknowledge race as a legitimate thing. Like, it's just a social construct.
Yeah. Well, you know, anything to get...
People are just people.
Anything to get people afraid of people who are out there trying to tell people some truth about some shit. You know, you got... Make them look like wackos, racist, violent, extremists.
If you disagree with Antifa, then of course you're a racist, sexist, homophobe, misogynist, you know?
Right.
Like, apparently, like 95% of the country are a bunch of racist,
don't try
homophobic
and inform,
you know.
Don't try and inform a legitimate group that goes out and actually does things. You know, because you'll be labeled that, whether it has anything to do with Antifa or not. I mean, someone is gonna, because once you get that label put on you, it's a giant stigma. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, but now that label means less and less because they keep sticking it to more and more people for less and less reasons.
Right, which means that society is more and more desensitized to actual racists that are out there, to actual institutionalized racism that's there in the system from its inception. And you know what? Where was all this screaming about Nazis in our government when LBJ took the fuck over, huh?
Yeah.
Where was all this screaming about Nazis in our government when Project Paperclip was going down? When they were taking guys from the Vatican? When the boys from Brazil were getting whitewashed and given new identities and being put into government service?
Get them, Dan.
You know.
Get them, Dan.
Exactly. You guys weren't even born then.
So
yeah,
it's like, well, after a while, it's like, go ahead, label me racist. It doesn't mean anything.
I've been watching this country for a long time, and a lot of people that are sitting in judgment of what happened then really are blaming a lot of the wrong people.
Yeah.
Well, and apparently this is something I stumbled across too. There was some mention of a blue flash before these fires ignited, and this is actually from space weather. Apparently, there was a mysterious blue-green flash seen on Mars not too long ago.
July 27th.
Yeah. And
really?
July 12th.
July 12th. Yeah. They say Mars is approaching Earth for a 15-year close encounter on the 27th, which is 3 days ago. So that's the closest Mars is going to be to Earth in a long time.
Yeah, it was pretty bright.
Yeah. So apparently there are these weird blue-green auroras or bright flashes of light in Mars's atmosphere. And now here's my question. If these fires are being triggered by scalar waves in addition to that blue flash, did anybody report strange auroral activity in California?
We don't normally get aurora in California.
Exactly.
We're too far south.
Right, that's my point.
But a lot of these fires, they're getting photographs or phone videos of these blue flashes just before the fires.
Well, if they shot
and I sent you some of those. They're in one of those 5 or 6 emails.
You know, if they shot them, if they were shooting them out of a plane, you know, flying through the air, it's probably not going to cause that. That would have to be outside of the atmosphere and hitting the atmosphere, right? To cause that anyway.
Yeah.
So
also, like, didn't they start like really, like, timing wise? Did they start like really close together?
I'm not sure.
Some of them did.
Yeah, that makes more sense. That it would be fired from orbit. Especially if they use like a beam splitter and all you have to do is fire one shot and you can have like several dozen little fires.
Right. Yeah, you could basically put a MIRV on it.
Yeah. Like, just go to Wicked Lasers and anything they have is multiplied by a factor of 100,000. And that's basically...
Well, now, here on the show, a couple times we've plugged my buddy at lasergadgets.com, laser-gadgets.com. And you can actually buy your very own burning lasers. You can equip your household with a directed energy weapon of its own.
Shoot back.
Yeah.
Yeah, sending Wicked
That's a
Lasers.
lot.
And that Wicked Lasers is another one.
That's definitely a thought, yes.
Yeah, you just got to know. I mean, how do you know? Can you see these things? I mean, do they have them where you just can't even see them? You know what I mean? Or would you actually see a physical being?
The beam is bright enough and powerful enough you'd see it.
Well, people have been recording them on camera. They've been fast. I've had to slow them down because they were faster than what I could focus on. But
also depends on the atmospherics. I mean, you could easily see a beam. There's like fog or something. But even without that, yeah, like a 5-watt blue laser, you could see it. It's visible.
What we got here? We got some hot tips coming in. What is this? Looks like some documents from 2009 regarding unconventional materials, controls, signature reduction, weaponry, human interface, and human effects in the Advanced Aerospace Threat and Identification Program, which is the UFO program that we were recently, blah blah blah, you know. So I require. It's someone asking, dear Secretary Lynn. This is from William Lynn. Given the he's trying to set up a special access program with bigoted access list. What does that mean? It says with a bigoted access list for special portions of the ATIP.
Well, what is a bigoted?
I don't know.
What is a bigoted access list?
I gotta ask the Google machine on this. I assume it's
bigoted. No black people or homosexuals allowed to see them UFOs. Apparently, I require your assistance in establishing a restricted special access program with a bigoted access list for specific portions of the ATIP. It's the what's it? Admissions list for it's everybody who's on the guest list the next time Kramer's at the Laugh Factory. So here's the thing. This is pretty revealing here, because this is letting us know that the ATIP, the double AAI tip, whatever is AAITP, is bigger than what we've been led to believe. So there's been special access programs set up within that program. So
there are special access programs set up within special access programs. I think it's such a clusterfuck now that the left hand doesn't know what the right hand is doing.
Right. Well, my point is, what we've been given is not everything. This was deeper than what we've been led to believe.
Right.
All right. So there's been SAP set up inside of this program. So this wasn't just a cover surface program here. You know, a blue book or whatever.
When
there was actually shit behind this.
When you Google bigoted access list in parentheses, the first thing that comes up is a link to an article about how Senator Harry Reid fought to keep secret UFO Pentagon program, Pentagon UFO
that must
program.
This was from Harry Reid.
Ah, gotcha. Okay.
And he's contacting William Lynn. He's talking to her secretary. Allocation of personnel support and oversight, application and engineering. So yeah, there you go. More documents out there, guys. Keep it out.
Mm-hmm. Well, so it doesn't necessarily mean a list full of bigots. However, given the makeup of the people who are in Operation Paperclip,
quite possibly.
Yeah, they're probably Nazis.
Wow.
So there you have it, guys. And we are at the end of the show. I know it's such a sad time. It's when we have to go. But we will be back next week, provided I'm not, in the hospital again or something. And what are we going on next week?
We don't even know yet, so it's a surprise. Tune in to find out.
I've been totally slacking on booking new guests, so... Thanks, Penny. As always, it's been great.
Thank you.
Thomas, thanks for hopping on the second hour.
Thank you, Tess. Thank you, our master
thanks
shit
for
poster.
having me, guys.
Before we go, you've got something pretty big coming up, don't you, in a couple months, Penny?
Oh yeah.
Why don't you tell me about that?
I'm going to be speaking at a conference in the last week of October in Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Oh, nice.
And it's called Stargate to the Cosmos.
Ah.
And I do one regular presentation and 2 workshops that you have to pay a little extra for. I think they're charging $20 for it. And I'm going to be in 5 panels, so I'll be doing something every day.
Busy. Well, it
busy,
sounds like a good time.
busy.
Well, who's going to be there with you?
There's going to be a lot of folks there. It's being put together by Janet Kira and Sasha Alex Lesson.
Oh, that reminds me. I got to get them back on.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do. And they have decided to invite all of us guys, the ones that are being ignored by Gaia and the other gatekeepers. And so it's going to be a combination of, on one hand, you're going to have the whistleblowers like us, and I know Tony is on the schedule, Tony Rodriguez,
Awesome.
and Elena's going to be.
What's funny is a friend of mine
Elena's going to be
sent me
there on.
a link for a site for that conference. Like, hey, I found this. I thought you might be interested in this. And I look at it like, yeah, I'm on a first name basis with half the speakers on that.
Yeah, we've got there are over 60 people going to be there, and it's just about an even split between whistleblowers and consciousness people, and some of them overlap. Yeah, we've got some top people going to be there, and then there's the rest of us.
You are top people, guys. You are top people.
Never doubt it.
So,
Well, thank you. But yeah, I couldn't think of anybody off the top of my head, but
we've got
except Tony and Elena's going to be there, and a lot of people that have not been to conferences before. So this will be an opportunity to meet experiencers.
we've got Andrew.
Are you guys going to be live streaming that, or is?
No, we won't be. Well, we won't be live streaming that. Hopefully, they will.
I don't think they're going to live stream it, but CDs are going to be available afterwards.
We got Laura Eisenhower,
Randy Kramer,
Billy Carson.
Mm-hmm.
Quite a lot of names.
I was wondering if you guys can get like a press pass.
If they ever do one on the East Coast, we're definitely in. For whatever.
Well, my understanding was they were planning to do a series of them in different cities, and this is the first of the set. So how often depends on how well it's accepted.
Yeah, I definitely. Anthony Zender, he's gonna be there, huh?
Oh man, this
is he calling? Are they doing Skype things, or
some of the people are going to be there by Skype, and some are going to be in person. And I'm going to be there in person.
We're missing a party.
Awesome. Yeah, no, it's just not happening right now.
It's going to be an awesome party.
So you guys out there listening, if you're in the area, check it out and get you some tickets. Check out Penny's special workshops. It's only $20. Come on, guys, it ain't nothing. You spend more than that at the movie theater watching stupid ass movies, man. Check it out. It's stargatedcosmos.com, and we will see you guys next week. Thanks for watching.
Cheerio.